The land of Israel is a land of incredible geographic complexity. I'm Jack Beck. I'm a Bible geographer, and I'm here in the Holy Land in order to explore all the geographical differences that this land has to offer. And I'm doing it as a Bible teacher because in order to best understand our Bible and the stories that only fit in the places that they occur, we're going to go on a trip that visits all sorts of different places in this region. You might not have noticed, but this season we've been following a watershed. It's like we're going down a giant water slide that carries us through geographically distinct regions, each with its own unique set of stories. To better understand this water system, I'm back in the Mount Hermon region where we began. This is the Dan Stream, as in the biblical city of Dan. It's one of the three streams that combine to form the famous Jordan River. The Jordan River runs the full length of ancient Israel, but it's not the kind of river you cross just anywhere. If this is the way just one of its sources looks, imagine the menacing appearance of the full-flowing Jordan. If you try to cross this river at the wrong place, it'll kill you. We're finally south of the Sea of Galilee along the actual Jordan River. When I go backpacking, I often have to scout for the best place to cross a river. You've already seen that the Dan Stream segment of the Upper Jordan River would have been a treacherous place to cross. This isn't easy, but it's doable. If I were Joshua bringing thousands of people across the Jordan River, I could use a spot just like this. But here's what you need to know. This Jordan River is not the same Jordan River of Bible times. Upstream demands on water have lowered the flow here to a mere 5% of what it was in Bible times. And that means that if I were here talking to you in Bible times, I'd be treading water in order to talk to you. In order to show you just how intimidating the Jordan River was in Bible times, we need to take a field trip.
South traffic, each terminal elevation over 565, you can take about 3.5 to the north, south traffic. We're flying above my home state, the state of Wisconsin. This beautiful river that you see below us right here, that's the Wisconsin River. It's a long river. It runs for about 430 miles, draining northern Wisconsin all the way down to the Mississippi. It is a threatening, uncrossable river in the springtime. And that makes it just like the Jordan River was in spring when Joshua and the Israelites crossed it. Well, here we go. Let's get on the ground and have a closer look at what this Wisconsin River has to teach us about the Bible.
Israel had been in the wilderness for 40 years, and everybody was excited about the moment they would get to the Jordan River and cross into the Promised Land. Excited, that is, until they actually got there. You see, Moses died there, and Joshua, the second in command, the untested, was now in charge. What made things even worse is what they saw when they got to the river. The river itself sat below a steep bank. It was murky, it was muddy, it was turbulent, and what made it all worse is that it was running at flood stage. Nobody, absolutely nobody, knew what they were going to do with something like this. Just imagine standing on the riverbank with thousands of families looking across the river. At Joshua's direction, you had consecrated yourself, and now you were waiting. Then the priests carried the Ark of the Covenant to the water's edge, and suddenly the water level begins to drop because the Lord blocked the river miles to the north. the ark stops in the middle of what was just an uncrossable river, and then you and your people cross over on dry ground. There could be no doubt. God was initiating his plan to bring his chosen people into the promised land. Would you grasp God's name being magnified before your people? Would you have known this incredible transition would be remembered for generations to come? As the last families made their way across the dry riverbed, the Lord instructed one member of each tribe to take a stone from where the priests had been standing with the Ark of the Covenant, bring it to the side of the Promised Land, and begin to build a memorial. Stone by stone, they built, until all 12 stones formed a monument, and that monument was a reminder to them and to their children that the Lord was responsible for this transition into the Promised Land. Every time the Bible's authors bring us to the banks of the Jordan River to witness a river crossing, we're seeing not just a change inside of the river, but really a big change or transition in life for them. A time where the Lord puts those who cross in a more challenging space where they're called to trust him more. And so when I stand next to the Jordan River and think about transitions that I've made, it really makes me think, because I'm just so bad at that. I do not like change, and I do not like that feeling of not being in greater control of my life. But every time God brings me to some significant moment of transition in my life, I remember that those changes give me the opportunity to trust less in myself and more in the Lord. And that makes every transition, every river crossing, no matter how difficult, valuable for my faith life. In the next episode, we're going to learn about another Jordan River crossing. However, this one won't be for a single people group, but a crossing that impacts all humankind.